everyone, this is Josh from Risk Wrenches. I'm going to be recording this intro after I did most of the footage in this video. Now, I did record an intro, but with how windy it's been here, you couldn't hear anything at all. I kind of rearranged kind of where I'm recording and where my microphone is, so I'm hoping this is a little bit less windy and you guys can actually understand me a little bit. But in this video, we're going to be getting our 1964 Chevy Chevelle ready to run. Now, there are a fair few things we're going to have to do to this thing. One, I'm going to have to figure out the ignition because I don't have keys for it. Number two, I'm going to have to clean out the interior because there is really bad in this thing. The headliner is falling apart. It's just covered everything in black, foamy grossness, and we got to get this thing out of here if I'm even going to sit on the inside of it. We got a few things wiring-wise. Once we pick the ignition, we got to figure out if the stash is going to even light up. I'm kind of not exactly holding out hope for it because this thing, like I said, did sit in the field for a long time, so I'm sure a few wires have gotten chewed by rats and rodents and things like that. I'm going to try to beat the trunk back into submission so the trunk will actually close. As you guys saw in a few other videos, the quarter panel of this thing is caved in from where a tree hit it. I'm hoping I can get a jack up under there and kind of push it back out sort of straight. It doesn't have to be exactly beautiful. I just want the trunk to be actually able to close, so if I do drive this thing around, the trunk isn't flailing around, or at least isn't held down with a rope. And a few other things here and there, like got this thing up on jack stands. Got a little bit easier to work on. I'm trying to get this thing ready to run in another video. Now, as I'm recording this video, I'm literally about to do the ready to run video. Like I said, the wind noise kind of canceled out a lot of the stuff I was getting into, but we're going to get into it here. I'm going to show you guys everything I did to this car to get it running, starting with the interior, because this thing was extremely bad. Now, I'm really just doing this for the front end. I don't really care about the back end right now. I've got a bunch of parts, a bunch of the old crap that came in that car, obviously the hubcaps and everything like that. I just want to make it a little bit more wrenchable, where if I can get this thing running, I might be able to go inside and pop it into gear and see if the transmission moves, but that's not going to happen with all that crap on the seat. What is left of this headliner is just everywhere, and it is disgusting. Like, me tapping right there did all this to my hoodie, and this stuff, like right there, it's black. It rubs into your stuff, and it just gets everywhere. It's disgusting. It's ugh. So I'm going to actually take a leaf blower, blow this thing out, then bring a shop vac over here and shop vac out the seats to make it at least livable. It's not going to be amazing, but it'll at least be livable. And I probably won't get a disease I didn't start today with. Cross my fingers for that. Now to get a shop vac in there. Not before I get a brush and brush off that. Well, for just a simple, quick leaf blower, these front seats didn't turn out too good, or too bad. They are still pretty dirty. I'm gonna have to get them with a vacuum. These aren't off the car originally. I'm guessing they're off of a Chevelle or a Monte Carlo or something. You can tell right back there what color the original seats were. It's the same color as the outside of this car, this teal, and it was leather or pleather or whatever the hell it was. But these were probably swapped in sometime in the 80s. They look very late 70s, early 80s Chevy to me. Like I said, I don't know exactly what, but I'm guessing like Monte Carlo or Chevelle or Impala or something like that. But for the very first time, I can actually sit down in this thing without running the risk of catching some sort of disease. Now, like I said, this is the first time I'm being able to sit in this thing, and this will be the first time. I've never had the driver's door open. I've never had the seat good enough to sit in, so. Oh my goodness. It's definitely a squeeze with the steering wheel as big as it is, but hey, it's actually comfy. Ooh, these seats are actually pretty darn cushy. Sitting down right here, big old steering wheel in my hand. Nobody's in the passenger seat, just chilling. I mean, this isn't too bad feeling of a car. I mean, steering wheel feels pretty great, even without power steering, because there's nothing on it right now. But, like I said, this is the first time I've been able to sit down in this car, and I like it. It's cushy, these seats are nice, the armrest is right where I want it to be. The, what is that? an ice scraper that's up there? I don't want to touch in there because I'm afraid there's going to be a mouse or something that's going to jump out and kill me. But it's actually not too bad. I just realized I do like the custom mirror arrangement there. That's pretty nice. This tells you guys how long this thing's been parked. In the back of it, brand new, not opened, 32 megabyte, not gigabyte, 32 megabyte SD card. That dates this thing. This is pretty ancient. I mean, like I said, it's not even open. It's brand new. Use this in my camera. Well, kind of curious. I went up under the passenger seat and I found 2 keys, which does lead me to believe one of these might be the ignition key, because normally in an old car like this you have a door key and an ignition key. And I found 2 separate keys here on what's left of a key ring. So I'm hoping these might be the keys to the thing. That'd be awesome if they are. These are at least the door lock key, because I'm able to spin it here. So I've got one of the keys, so I'm wondering if this other one here isn't the ignition key. That would be awesome if I found the keys for this thing. Dude, look at this sickness. Look, so you see, whoop. So you see right there, ignition's locked. Look what I found under the seat. I found the keys for it, and it operates the doors, if it would focus. Yeah, but see, it's unlocked now, and boop, off, on, and start. Now I can turn it the whole way off the lock and take the key out, and this doesn't spin. So this is actually the key for it. This is awesome. Today's a good day. Well, there we go. It's not beautiful, and I might leaf blow it out probably tomorrow, but I can at least sit on that seat now without having the headliner fall on me, because I scrubbed most of it off, and most of the crap is out of there. And that's where I found the seat, right over there under the passenger side. I saw like a little key ring, and I'm like, oh my God, maybe keys. I pulled it, there was nothing on it, and the keys were in front of it, rusted to the carpet. So I was like, oh my God, these might be it, and sure as hell they were. So that right there is an amazing find. Now next we're going to move on to that big old dent in the rear end. We're going to hopefully knock that thing out so the trunk can have a little bit of room to open and close. Now next I'm going to be dealing with this big old dent in the rear. You guys can tell this thing is just completely caved in. It had a really big tree fall on it, and this thing needs to come out of here. It doesn't really necessarily need to, but if I want to get this thing ready to run and drive, I want this thing out here so I can actually close the trunk with more than just the hose or the rope that I've been using this whole time. It's actually pushed in a little bit too, so that's keeping the trunk from closing completely. As you guys can tell, it doesn't sit the whole way down. If I do something like this, you guys can see it's overlapping real bad. So this needs to come out if I'm gonna have this thing actually shut and be secure when I'm driving this thing. Let's get into it. Now after that, now that we found the keys and everything, let's make sure this dash actually does light up and crank this thing over. believe is keeping this thing from running is down here at the starter solenoid, which goes to the starter. The power wire right off the battery goes down to it, and there are a few wires that are just completely disconnected or rat chewed. I'm gonna wire these things back up, and I'm hoping and crossing my fingers that that dash will light up and this thing might crank over off of the key. That will be a giant win if that happens. All right, well, first things first, I've got to get some wrenches and stuff to loosen up those electrical connectors. That will be right back. There we go. Got new connections on there now. I have actually hope this thing might show a little bit of signs of life here. My next thought is over here, these really ugly and old battery connections might not be doing what they need to do. I've very clearly got a bad ground somewhere. Not getting anything there. This one's definitely hooked up here for some reason. I don't know what that goes to. All right. Now I am going to put back on the negative terminal just to see what happens. Oh, I hear it zapping. Let's look inside and see if we got power now. Look at this, guys. Look at this. I've got lights on my dash. Hold on, if I shut it off, does it go? Oh my goodness. Shuts off. All right, let's see here. Moment of truth. Woo! She cranks! Probably shouldn't do that because my tripod is inside the motor right now. But that was cranking right there. That was cranking. Okay, I'm gonna clean up some more of these electrical connections just to make sure I don't start a fire. Then I might put a booster to this thing and see how nicely it cranks over and make sure I don't melt anything as I crank it over. Because that is something that will happen if you do not have the wires the way they should be. They will catch on fire and melt because cranking a motor takes a lot of power. All right, got it back all the way up in park. All right, I'm not going to crank it much more. And well, now that we got it cranking, this thing's ready to run. And there's actually a lot better than I thought. Now, this thing obviously does have a gallop whenever we crank it over. It's not, you know, hitting on all cylinders very clearly. It doesn't have a coil on it, so there's no way in hell it's going to make a spark, and the carburetor's completely seized up. But I'm going to leave those for another video, but it does sound healthy enough, at least to make some putt. Even if it doesn't run perfectly well, it might make some noise and blow some smoke out the exhaust, and that's all I'm really hoping for this motor. This is kind of just a test bed because, as you guys know, I got the 350 and 4-speed from that Camaro we parted out. You know, the rear end, all that stuff's going to go into this car. So I'm not really holding out too much hope for this motor. Like I said, it was smoking like a choo-choo train. That's the whole reason it was parked. But I do want to hear it make a little bit of noise. And maybe if I put the rear end and brakes from that Camaro onto this car, maybe take it around the block once or twice just to give it a final ride. Now, after that, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this motor and transmission. Probably going to keep it around at least for something. Like I said, I don't know exactly what. I might turn it into a table. I don't know. I might just leave it in the shop until I find a use for it. I don't know. If you guys have any good uses, let me know down in the comments. But this is Josh from Whiskers and Wrenches. I hope you guys are having a great day, And this video, we got this thing ready to run. And in the next video, you guys are going to see from this thing, we are hopefully going to have this thing running. Now, I don't know how well, like I said, but it should be at least making a little bit of noise. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, share it around. We are super close to getting monetized here on this channel, so I cannot thank you guys enough for that. We've got the subscribers, we've got the videos. The only thing we're missing is watch time. So if you guys do know anybody that likes these kind of videos, let them know about it so they can get a little bit more watch time so I can start to hopefully be getting a few dollars back from this YouTube thing. Now, it's not super expensive, most of the stuff I had laying around, and I was already working on cars anyways, but I mean, hell, if I get 20 bucks here and there, it pays for the gas to go pick up another project. So I hope you guys are having a great one. Peace out. See you guys in the next one. Among Us.
Dreams are made of these. I didn't want to be the guy that, you know, filmed random children without their consent. That'd probably put me on a watch list somewhere.